Fighters, it's showtime!
And it's your boys. I'm Zero.
And I'm Mash.
And we're here with a special game. Everyone here is familiar with Capcom vs. SNK. But are you familiar with SNK vs. Capcom?
I am not. I've never played this before.
It's kind of unknown. Capcom was at the top of their game when they created Capcom vs. SNK 1 and 2. But SNK, through their agreement, were also allowed to make their own crossover game, which they dubbed SvC Chaos. That's the main title, by the way. Confusing as hell. S standing for SNK, V for Versus, C for Capcom. But it does have the subtitle SNK vs. Capcom. They should have just called it that. Still probably confusing as heck if you ask me. But this is, yes. This is SNK's entry into the crossover series with, their agreement with Capcom. Released in 2003 in the arcades and later ported to the PS2 and the Xbox. This is created specifically with SNK graphics, SNK mechanics, SNK playstyle, all that good stuff. And what we're playing now is the upgraded ported version on the PS4. And we probably should have mentioned this at the top as well. Welcome to the Summer of Fighting Games, Episode 1.
I was gonna throw that in. This is gonna kick off the Summer of Fighting Games. While we were kind of getting all set up, can you explain to me what the difference then is between SNK versus Capcom, what we're playing now, and Capcom versus SNK specifically?
So, it's going to be a little bit tougher to explain, but I'll do my best. Because we did play Capcom vs. SNK 1, and do you remember how we were limited to 4 action buttons? Two buttons for punch, 2 buttons for kick. You remember that?
Yeah.
Same thing here. That was an SNK thing. SNK uses weak punch, hard punch, light kick, hard kick. That's pretty much the main difference. The other mechanical differences are going to be with how the super gauge works. Different motions are going to be used for characters, for their super moves, for their special moves. Let's look at the controller, as a matter of fact. As you can see here, light punch, light kick, strong punch, strong kick. And then you can combine them together so you could have button mapping for both buttons together or other things. You also have a taunt button. But
and a hidden player.
Hidden player, that's used during character select. So I don't know why SNK did this. You're going to see when we get to the character select. But they're all the secret characters, they don't have their own separate spaces. They don't do that. You hold L1 over a random character on either side, and it'll reveal a hidden character in that space. Okay. It's weird. I didn't like that, but it works. And if that's the worst this game has to offer, then it's not that bad. So I'm just gonna leave the buttons as they are. Let's get into a game. Right, Mash?
Yep. Alright, so I'm excited to see what the roster is like. Yeah, I could usually tell a fighting game if I've played or seen it before just by the character select. I can say for 100% I've never seen this before.
Yeah, as you can see, the graphics are exactly how SNK would have had it. This is SNK's graphical style, 100% to a T. You can see, like, the pixels are more blocky. Obviously, if
very
we
Neo
had...
Geo.
Yeah, very Neo Geo-like. If we had a CRT filter available, which I'm gonna double check to see if there is one available, again, these pixels would be smoothed out a little bit, and the characters would probably look a little bit better. But again, this is their signature style.
Wow.
And remember,
yeah,
don't...
So...
What were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, it looks so CRT.
Yeah, 100%. So, Mash is over here using Vega, classic character from Street Fighter. Now I'm using Ryo from The Art of Fighting. Again, SNK had their own series of fighters. It wasn't just one fighting game. Just like Capcom. Capcom had a bunch. So Art of Fighting, King of Fighters, Fatal Fury. King of Fighters being sort of like their own crossover series, using different fighting games of theirs. Oh, there we go. Oh, look at that! I got a trophy.
I could say for a fact that Vega does not work the same way. Vega does not work in a way that I'm comfortable with, so I'm gonna have to swap after this. I can't do the rolling. I think it's the Rolling Thunder. There we go. I finally pulled it out. But yeah, this is not gonna be a charge character game for me. I do like the visuals though.
The background animation. Just look at the background, dude.
Right.
We didn't really get a lot of that in Capcom.
The mixed 3D and stuff. I definitely get that. I like how blocky the characters look.
Oh, that's something you like. Okay.
I think it's interesting. Like, I see a lot of posts on like social media where it basically says, like, it compares CRT versus like modern HD for certain characters, and you see like, oh, do you like it with the blockiness? Do you like scan lines? Do you just like it like a pure raw image that you would have on like an HD display? But yeah, I like legitimately like this. I usually don't go crazy over the scan lines and stuff, but this looks really nice.
No, for sure, dude. One thing that I've grown to appreciate over time, because again, I'm an artist. For those who don't know, like I pretty much make 99.9% of the graphics for our channel, and again, I tried to emulate this sort of blocky texture look when it came to like our faces that we use. As a matter of fact, you guys you're probably looking at them right now. Oh yeah, that's right. So Mash is doing the whole thing. If I go over Ryu and I hold L1, you can see I have 0. And then down here, Dimitri, Dan, and then Violent Ken. We have Shin Akuma. We have Red Reamer, that's his name. But it's really only for like the first row of characters. The first column of characters, they get the secret character thing. Oh, and we're running out of time. Shit, all right.
Violent Ken. Oh man.
So think of Evil Ryu, and this is Ken's version.
I didn't know that there was an Evil Ken. That's awesome.
Yeah. So where Evil Ryu is, he was created through the dark energy of the Satsui no Hado. He let the
dude, wait, are you breaking out the lore?
Yes,
right
I am.
Now?
Yes, I am.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Just so that people understand, because there are some Street Fighter people that don't know about Violent Ken, and he's actually a pretty cool character. And when you learn Mash, you're going to be like, oh, wait, what? So, Evil Ryu, well, actually, both Ken and Ryu use a certain, they use the same style of the martial arts. I'm forgetting the name of it. I'll put it in post. But Ryu also takes energy from the Satsui no Hado. So Akuma mastered it. Even though Akuma seems evil, he's not technically evil. He uses the evil energy, but he's not evil. Ryu's not like Akuma. Ryu can be influenced, and if he lets the Satsui no Hado take him over, you get Evil Ryu, and he's much more violent. He doesn't really care about the opponent. He's all bloodlust. Violent Ken, however, has no real connection to the Satsui no Hado to my understanding, but the energy you see him using, as a matter of fact, Mash, throw out a Hadouken for me. You see how it's purple?
Yeah, instead of blue.
What character uses a lot of purple energy in their attacks?
Mace Windu?
I mean, in the Street Fighter universe.
Honestly, I'm blanking on it, so just say it.
He's literally on screen.
Bison. Oh, Bison. Oh, Shadow Loop.
Yeah, Evil Ken. No, Violent Ken is being influenced by Bison's psycho power. That's what Ken is being influenced by, creating Violent Ken. So it's kind of interesting, and I would love to see Evil Ryu and Violent Ken duke it out in the game. Unfortunately, we don't have Evil Ryu here, just Violent Ken, and this, to my understanding, this was his first appearance. And it's funny because Capcom would reference Violent Ken in their color swaps for Ken in the Street Fighter games, but never proper Violent Ken. So,
well, I can say I definitely, whenever I picked Evil Ryu in like Capcom versus SNK, it was always it always felt like I was just cheating. He was so good. Oh, they even have Shin Akuma. I gotta try that.
Yeah.
But Violent Ken doesn't feel quite the same. So Evil Ryu is like tournament banned. Like he's just that good. But I don't know. Violent Ken felt kind of weird. Maybe it's because I'm still not used to playing fighting games on a PS5 controller. But it definitely felt a little odd to me. A little subdued.
Oh, that's right. I could charge with 0. So I'm also gonna say this. This was the first time also that we get 0 in a fighting game, to my understanding. So
really,
yeah, to my understanding, I will correct myself.
This is pre Tatsunoko.
Yeah, this came out in 2003. Tatsunoko versus Capcom didn't come out until like the mid to late 2000s. So we're talking about maybe 2010, if not 2008 or something like that. So again, SNK did their homework. You can indeed charge Zero's attack, because again, the Mega Man Zero series of games was popular at the time. So I believe their belief was probably like, oh, fans want to play as this version of Zero. And there we go, my Buster move. I can't seem to... It looks like it's not just charging. I have to do... There we go. I have to do like down forward to do it. Oh, man. I will also say, the animation feels smoother. Like when you were doing your Tatsumaki, your spinning kick.
Yeah.
It felt smoother. Go ahead and do it again.
It's those scan lines, dude. I'm telling you, everything was smoother in the 90s and the 80s. That's just how life was.
I don't think it's not the scan lines. The scan lines is more of a filter mash.
No, I'm fucking around. But I will say though, real quick, just to throw back to still fighting game related. One day I was in iFix Machine, rest in peace, arcade in Brooklyn back in the day, and I saw a CRT setup that had this goofy looking Dreamcast. Like you could tell something was done to it, and they were playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2. And that was I don't think I've seen a better looking Marvel vs. Capcom 2 setup in my life. Like ever since then, I've played Marvel vs. Capcom 2 on like an HD TV. It never looked as good to me as it did then.
On a CRT, right?
Yeah, it wasn't like any crazy big CRT TV, but yeah, it was definitely running on a CRT. It definitely had some kind of modification to it because I don't know, the Dreamcast just looked a little bit different. Yeah, if Chris is watching, and he can feel free to comment and let us know what that was. Maybe I'll just ask him.
Yeah, so that's definitely something I want to talk about. So for those who don't understand what we mean by like looking better on a CRT, the way TVs used to work is that you would have a big old box of a TV, not a freaking flat panel like thing you could hang on a wall. And these TVs, in order for them to work, would have a graphite glass in the front. Glass, not like some sort of plastic panel or whatever. And literal lasers would have... Well, light beams or lasers, whatever the fuck you want to call it, would have to essentially beam the image to the back end of the screen, lighting up graphite, I guess we can call them pixels at this point, to give us an image. And because it was light beams doing it, it would take time for that visual to actually come up. Like, we keep thinking that light is instantaneous, and it's really not. To us, it seems instantaneous. Jesus Christ. Mr. Karate can do that. I didn't know.
Well, this is, also remember, this is one of the hidden characters, so he's probably broken.
Because the screen needed to be lit up by light beams, and then the graphite would actually have to light up itself, so that also takes time. It would do it line by line, so you would see like the first line at the very top, light up, and then as it goes down, it would keep going, creating a sort of, I guess you can call it, there we go, line effect. So like in between each pixel, there would be a very thin black line that would also sort of blur the pixels and smooth them out. That is what a scan line is, in a sense. I've probably explained it weirdly. If anybody in the comments would like to clarify, please do so.
Yeah, for real.
But because artists back in the day understood how TVs worked, they used that to their advantage. So, like Mash was saying, MVC2 looked better on a CRT because CRTs still use scan lines. And those scan lines smooth out the pixels and give you a much more fuller image. It doesn't look as blocky, it looks more drawn, if that makes any sense. So I've been experimenting more and more using CRT filters on older consoles, on older games, and the results are actually quite interesting, if you ask me. Recently, my brother and I are actually thinking about doing something special with Digimon World 3, more on that in a future video, I guess. And I'm using an emulator on PC called DuckStation, and I added a couple of filters, and man, I was brought back to 2002, because I was looking at Leomon, that big old freaking lion Digimon with pecs. He looked like he was drawn after adding the CRT filter. He didn't look like an amalgamation of pixels. And I thought to myself, oh, wow.
Yeah, I feel like there's definitely been a resurgence of this stuff, and I mean, there's so many games now that give you the option to do this scan line if they're, you know, they're supposed to be like retro style. So one thing that comes to mind, I found this page that I think it's just on Instagram or something, but basically the dude explains his favorite way to play a video game, and he like shows off all the like settings he does, what mods he uses to make it look like absolutely perfect and run the best. And I've kind of become really invested in that. One of the ones he did was Symphony of the Night, but yeah, we could totally link that in the channel description if anybody's interested.
100%. Again, I played a little bit of Symphony of the Night. I mean, I own it digitally, and it's one of those games. Again, it was created in the mid-90s for CRT console, for CRT TVs, and it absolutely can work well with a CRT filter. As a matter of fact, if you pay attention to, I believe, the portraits of Symphony of the Night, you'll notice how there's just one big red pixel for the eyes, for, I believe, Dracula, right? However, with the CRT filter, or seen through a CRT TV, you would see that that eye is actually more spread out and it looks more glowing, which was the initial intent of the developers. So it's
okay. There's definitely. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that there's essentially a use for it. Again, people have their own taste, so they don't have to use CRT filters, but I do recommend trying it.
Yeah, it definitely kind of can get you to the point of being more of a purist about this issue, but yeah, I like having the option. I like seeing it. A lot of the times, especially with indie games, they will opt for a retro style too, and they will tend to give you a scan line filter if that's what you want. Just recently, they announced a bunch of games at the, I think it was the Summer Fest of some, I don't remember, but they announced Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, kind of like a sequel, I guess, and I would imagine there they'll give you CRT stuff too. Which, by the way, I'm excited for that. We should definitely feature that at least.
Do we have a release date?
I'm not sure. But I think the most important detail, in my opinion, is that Anna Monoguchi will be featured into the game.
Oh God, yes!
Just perfect. Now, I will say, I think there's something wrong with this game, and that's because I picked Geese, but I didn't win. So I think some of the mechanics here aren't quite right.
Again, this is SNK themed. These are SNK controls we're dealing with, and we're mainly Capcom guys here, guys. We mainly play on Capcom games, so this is something we need to get used to. SNK players are looking at us going, noobs.
But how could it be more complicated? It's less buttons.
It's less buttons, but probably the timings are different. So let me try something. That's
Virtua Fighter.
So let's go to the options and see if we get any filters. Scan lines. All right. Smooth image. Let's try that as well. Oh god, those scan lines are dark. 1 second. So that's we have a choice of 50 or not. Okay. Display mode normal. Large stretch. We're not doing stretch. Let's do large. Yeah, let's do large. Filter flicker. We'll keep that. Oh, cool.
Can we actually just do not large, the one we had before normal?
Oh, you like that one better? Okay, that's cool.
I'm sitting right in front of my TV, so I wouldn't be able to see it very well.
All right, so the frustrating thing is they don't let me dial in the scan lines to the way I like it, because going 100 might actually make it a little too dark. But I will add the smooth image filter and see how that looks. All right, now Mash, does it look any different to you?
Yes, definitely. I think I like this better, though.
Right? Like, it does add a little bit of something to this to the image, but this is how it would have originally looked. At least a better approximation of how it looked back in the arcades, back on the CRTs, back at home. And honestly, I have to agree, I like this better as well.
Well, I think primarily, for me, it's the smoothing that you turned on.
Yeah, again, CRTs are supposed to... CRT filters, scanline filters, are supposed to do that. But it's difficult to replicate it because all scanlines are lines. A CRT itself, the TV, the phosphorus nodes, those are what added the blurring. And we don't have those anymore on TVs. So they kind of have to add the blurring themselves. So like I said, this is a better approximation of how it would have looked like on a TV back in the day. But yeah, I have to agree, this looks better. I can see more of Ken's muscle. And Guile's muscle. I can see it more. It's not just a box of pixels anymore. Oh my god, Mash. Screw that.
I will say, I don't know if I'm crazy about the border. The one that we had before, actually.
Oh, you didn't like the...
bit nicer. The art in the last one was a little weird. I think this looks kind of better.
I agree. Again, you have the main protagonists from both games, the male and females here, and I like it. I mean, Mai looks fantastic. I mean, a little revealing, but that's her. Freaking Chun-Li is a freaking beast. This woman looks like she's about to break your jaw, and I love it. Ryu looks like Ryu. Freaking, I'm forgetting his name. Damn, Terry Bogard looks like Terry.
Terry, don't Bogart the... Never mind. Yeah, no, the frame looks pretty cool. I like what we've done visually with the tweaks. I feel like the greater emphasis on the scan line makes the characters actually kind of like pop out from the background. I don't know if it's the stage, because the stage is kind of it's kind of static. There's not a lot moving like the one we were on before, but it definitely feels to me like these characters are just popping out.
No, I agree with you. Again, the background also is making massive use, because the smaller the pixel, the more you have to essentially tell your brain, hey, do something with this. This is supposed to look like something. With the smoothing, less work for your brain. The screen does most of the work for you. Those look like buildings. Those look like torn down buildings. Those look like houses. That looks like a train. It's not an amalgamation of pixels anymore. Oof. There you go. Another thing we should probably mention is again how the visuals look. SNK seems to use a lot more vibrant colors in their art. So even in like the health bar and the character designs and stuff like that, deeper, more vibrant colors. And then you have the portraits that look a little bit more dulled out.
They look a little more faded, but yeah. The characters themselves look good colored.
All right, let's try Shiki. My God, that whole animation right there looks so smooth.
I want to try a big character that I don't know anything about.
Oh
So
God,
I'm gonna go
Hugo. You've seen Hugo before in Street Fighter 3.
Of course, I've been on the receiving end of Hugo many times, but I can't say that I know how to play Hugo.
So this is another classic thing about SNK games. You get dialogue before each fight. So this is 100% SNK, doing their thing. Oh my God. So let's talk about the reception of this game a little bit. So we mentioned this came out way after Capcom vs. SNK 1 and 2. As a matter of fact, SNK did make their own SNK vs. Capcom game, but for whatever reason, they decided to make it a portable game on their SNK portable system. Again, it was probably popular in the East, but not here in the West, because I do not recall anyone ever talking about it. So, that game, unfortunately, is not that well known. So, 2001, we get Capcom vs. SNK 2, a giant in the fighting game community, a fantastic game, well made from the bottom up, classic
Sweet
characters.
love and bacon.
Yes. Holy shizzle!
I can see why people play Hugo. Holy shit.
Well, that did.
Freaking immovable object over here. David versus Goliath.
Honestly. And, so, again, 2001, Capcom vs. SNK 2. Then you get SvC Chaos in 03. Again, not that long of a wait. You know, a year and a half, maybe 2 years. But you have a limited roster. Well, not necessarily limited. They have about the same amount of characters. It just looks like less because the hidden characters are hidden behind a button. And if it was in the arcades, it probably wasn't like well known. Then you have the gameplay. The gameplay here is fine. But in Capcom vs. SNK 2, you actually have the option of doing 3v3 like they do in King of Fighters. You also have the option of using different meters, and you also get different mechanics with those meters. This game is more limited.
Mm-mm. So I know that when they do these crossover fighters, if it's a pre-established franchise, like obviously this was, they tend to just pull the moveset and even some of the animations sometimes too from one of the other versions of the game. So it kind of feels to me, obviously I was playing Hugo, so that's basically just straight out of Third Strike, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what about like Ryu and Chun-Li and the rest of them? Do they play kind of like a specific version of them from another Street Fighter?
To my understanding, I'm not sure.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with that part of the development. But I will say this: where they didn't put work in the mechanics side of the game, they did put a lot of work in the sprite work. Because all the Capcom characters, all the secret ones, and all the ones that we see normally, they're all handmade, recreated by SNK. So they put a lot of work and attention into the animations and the sprites. To my understanding, Capcom had no say in like how these sprites looked and worked and animated. That's my understanding of it. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Jesus!
And also, I'm noticing too. So the meter has like two colors.
Yes.
You get through the green meter or the whatever meter, and then it turns into the red meter, and that's your last bit of health. It was actually a little confusing for me at first because I hadn't played a fighting game like that. Is that an SNK thing or a KOF thing?
I'm not too familiar. I'd have to... Oh, good freaking job there, Mash.
I was just smashing.
Yeah, oh, staying true to your name. All right, we have time for one last fight, so let's make it count. All right, going with Akuma. Let's do this. So, again, when it comes to the actual development of this game, I don't have too much info on it. Again, it's less well known. It was absolutely overshadowed by Capcom vs. SNK 2 at the time. And that's not to say that this game isn't good. Like, again, poor Mash over here, he's playing with lag, because we're playing with what's it called?
You're right, but I'm more concerned, honestly, over the fact that I don't have a fight stick for my PS5.
Oh, God. Well, PlayStation is coming out with their own fight stick, so...
That is true. They just announced that recently.
I'm actually interested in it myself, though.
Yeah, we should probably get it and review it for the channel.
Yeah, that'll be for another time. Anyway, yeah, we also have to remember that around this time, 3D fighters were becoming more and more a thing. Soul Calibur was lighting up the arcades, and even Mortal Kombat themselves went into the 3D realm with their games later on. So another 2D fighter in the massive sea of other 2D fighters, you know, in my understanding, probably wouldn't have gotten that much of attention. So, again, not to take away from this game, not to say that it's not good, but times were changing, and it seems that SNK probably just missed the boat, just like at the tail end.
Yeah, it was very much like the Sega Saturn, you know? There should have been more emphasis on 3D games around that time. That was the shift that was happening, but it seems like the consensus is that the Saturn was a lot better with 2D than it was with 3D.
It was built for 2D, and it was only later they added another processor to help with 3D, like late into the development of the console, unfortunately.
Because I'm not gonna lie, I mean, I'm sure that there are crazy modders that can do like a super good version of it, but I actually don't like playing some Saturn games in 3D, even Daytona USA. I like playing them slightly like a HD port, or like something that's been on an emulator, because there's so much pop-in on that system.
Oh my God, there I go. Very good stuff. So to end it off, like, I looked up reviews of this game, and I got mostly middling reviews. SNK players will feel right at home with SvC Chaos, and I definitely recommend it. Get yourself a physical version. It works on both the PS4 and the PS5. It only makes sense. And have yourself some fun. You guys, a lot of SNK players probably have not tried this game yet. And I 100% recommend it for anyone who likes King of Fighters, likes Art of Fighting, likes, what's that, Samurai Showdown, or even Fatal Fury. Grab this game, try it out, see what you think.
And so this is like a PS4 version of PS2 game or something?
Yep, pretty much. Either they took the original arcade ISO and ported it, or they took like the Xbox or PS2 version and ported it. It's one of those two. But it works exactly how it should. This game... Wow, that was funny. This game is pretty decent.
Yeah, I'd say I like it. So, this is going to do it for our first Summer Fighting Games episode for 2025. We really hope you guys enjoyed it. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Are you familiar with SvC Chaos? Let us know in the comments below. We definitely have more fighting games coming up for you.
Indeed. Have you guys played this game? Have you heard of it? What's your score of this game? Who's your favorite character? Let us know in the comments below. We'll interact with you guys there. Join our Discord. Support us on Ko-fi if you can. And like Mash said, stay tuned. We got more fighting games coming up for you guys in the month of July. So take care.
Later.